Levack and Goz, remote locations, but hopefully a decent show. I make no promises. Happy Saturday morning, everybody. Welcome, one and all. Of course, thanks to Techies Tuesday. We still kind of take over the Techies Facebook page whenever we want. We're on there. Of course, Godzilla Media YouTube. And, of course, Goz's Twitter because he's a megalomaniac. Two Z's because he's too full of himself for just one consonant. Listen, it's weird. I feel like we should start talking about the sports that are playing. But, guys, why don't we start with will there be baseball? I have been so sure that it was going to work out that I never really allowed myself to even entertain the thought that they wouldn't get it done. I've a little doubt has creeped into my heart. A small amount of doubt has creeped in there. A dart in my fart. I just want to now say art words. But still, we're only going to miss those two series, right? They're going to get this done, aren't they? That's not the sound I wanted to hear from you.
I don't feel as confident. Nothing has changed, unfortunately, for me to think like there's some big breakthrough. Besides the occasional tweet from a Major League Baseball writer, whether it's Paston or Buster Olney or Bob Nightingale, of we think they might have settled on this thing. It seems like they're okay with these two things. That just hasn't happened where I feel like we're closer than before. It still feels like the same timeline of owners are okay with missing April. They're okay with missing May. As long as they get the most money possible out of the playoffs, they're happy because they're making money. And they continue to stick it to the fans who would be hanging out this spring watching the games and saying, sorry, it's not going to work for us. We just want to make as much money as possible. I don't know what progress has been made, and maybe that's the art of the deal, the art of a back and forth. Don't let the other side know what you're ready to compromise on to get as much as you want. Maybe that's the game we're at this point.
You know, it's the theory that they don't care about April because people don't really go to the games in April does seem to have some kind of validity to it at the moment. So let's go with that. Let's go with I'm not paying a stadium staff. I'm not paying this one. I'm not paying that one. And then I don't have crappy attendance for April. No big deal. It's a wash anyway. If that's real, when do they start ramping up? Are we looking at May 1st? Do you just push everything to May? Is that where it is? But remember, the players say we want to be paid for every game. And the owner's like, screw you, you don't play, you ain't getting paid. So I just if that's real, if it's literally like, well, it's a net negative to play games in April right now because we don't get enough attendance, is when do they play? If that's the real thing, if that's the major like leverage the owners think they have, is it May 1st? Is it the last week of April? What are we looking at?
It feels like it's June. I don't want to say June. I don't
you can't say June.
I feel like it is though. Like
June's not the answer. June's not the answer.
Here's what they want. If they can figure out a way to continue to make the regular season more exciting, more must-watch, more every game means something, like right that if you're a baseball fan, baseball owner, baseball executive, you probably are so jealous of the NFL every single day because of 4-team divisions. Every game means something. The fans are invested. It's quick. It's simple. Every game means something. We're in March now, right? Like when March Madness hits, and especially these conference tournament weeks, that's the great part of March Madness. Every game, every shot, people can't get enough of it. What baseball has is that, okay, if it's a early June game, I guess I'll use my Orioles, but maybe not the best example. If like it's the Orioles versus the Royals, traditionally with a 162 game season, no one's going to be like, you got to watch it. It can't miss baseball. Not the case. Like the last couple of years in baseball, you and I have been able to do this. We've been able to look at the standings in mid-May, early June, and say, here are the playoff teams. Here are the teams that are going to the division. The Rays are always the hardest because you don't know what the hell, and the A's, right? Like the Rays and A's. Those two teams, like at some point, they're going to get good, but besides that, we don't really know, and you're able to figure it out. Baseball's like, we don't want you to know the playoff teams way in advance. We know all these teams are trying to like build for the future and have minor leaguers. We don't want that. We want this to be as competitive and to have people care as much as possible. And what's the best way to get to that point? Now, I hope that's not the future. Like having less of something for your business model is a weird strategy in 2022, but maybe that's what baseball looks at for the future.
Well, it's very corporate. It's very corporate. Like, well, sure, I'm not bringing in a certain amount of income, but I'm not I don't have those expenses now. I don't have to worry about that. I will, this isn't my plea. As an upstate New Yorker, it can be 30 degrees outside. If I turn on the television and spring training is going on, my soul gets warmer. So just if you could, what little soul I have left, baseball, if you could just at least just start funneling me videos of the guys training, like let them in just to train so I can see it and the serotonin in my brain starts to fire. That would be great. This is when you're obsessed with everything. Like you love your game. Our guys at Inside the Walls podcast. That means more National Arena League football for me. But we don't kick off until April 23rd. There you go. And then I got the helmet up there.
Look at that, huh?
I got an old AFL football over on this side, I can do both. You got to remember, everything I do, I eat, sleep, breathe National Arena League right now. I would love a 7 o'clock backyard, even in the cold, I do it, or the front porch. A little bourbon, a little cigar, listen to a game, even a spring training game, just to recharge the freaking batteries. That's what got me through terrestrial radio, was sitting out in my backyard and listening to the game. So I want baseball. I just need the videos of like pitchers and catchers reporting. I don't even care. Just give me that video. Give me the Boys of Summer on TV and not a rerun on the Yes Network. That's all I need. That's all I need out of the world. That's
all baseball fans want, to see their sport being played and not being chopped up by billionaires and taking it away because they're battling for greed and everything else. And by the way, Inside the Walls, the invitation still stands. I've personally invited myself on your podcast. You just say when you want me on, and I will come on. So the invitation still stands. I'm inviting myself to your show.
I'm relatively positive that Inside the Walls, they tune in, make a comment, get a free mention, and they tune back out. Yeah, I think they sit there and they go, are they talking about the Empire? Are they talking about the Predators? Are they no? All right, peace out. Did they say Inside the Walls? Boom. Let's go. All right, we're peace out. Peace out, Girl Scout.
Very football on the know of them, isn't it? Very football on the know. Ask a question about themselves and then get right out and get the plug.
I don't know if Inside the Walls has reached the football on the know level of cheap pop yet, but they're definitely in contention. And I'm gonna have to start tuning in all the time to them to see if they are at least mentioning us once in a while. I think a little quid pro quo is all I want. It's like you leaving clothes in your coach's office. Yeah. Well, he's here now, so I can't do that anymore. I have to be a good boy now, and it's no longer in there. So Coach Manasseh's boots on the ground. We met with some potential sponsors and other things, and it's cool to have Coach around. I miss seeing my boy.
And shout out to the video you guys made. Jamie and your team over there. What an awesome video you guys posted on social media about Coach's life, a little background of him and everything else. Really cool stuff from you guys.
She's doing a great job in there. I'm a little afraid because her predecessor is in town. So I don't know if there's going to be a media street fight between Lindsay and Jamie. Wait, don't go there. They both worked for me at one point.
Brawling, steel cage. By the way, Lindsay texted me back. I gotta get a hold of her.
She's here. She's in town.
Right, tell her Goz is looking for you.
No, I'm not gonna do that. All right. So baseball. It's funny. The majority of people, it's just that's what baseball's done to itself. Most people are I'm the one over here going. I think I just lump it all in the pandemic. You've taken so much from me. Give me my freaking baseball back. Have you seen my baseball?
I wanted to use that as a graphic so much.
Why not? Okay.
All right.
Something about Mary.
No, that's right. Nobody gets offended here in the podcast land. That's a good thing. Before we get into non-baseball stuff, and hopefully one day we'll actually talk about baseball, I want to tell you about our friends over at Mohawk. I'm sorry. Jump the gun. How dare I?
Inside the Walls, guys. This is Jim, and yes, you are more than welcome to join. Inside the Walls.
Oh, how nice of them. Very cool.
Yeah. Apparently I'm not. Whatever, Jim. Thanks for nothing. Sure.
Jim, hit me on the DM, man. We'll talk. We'll do some talk before the season.
You solicited him. You hit Jim.
All right. I will. Before the season. At some point. I'm very busy this week. Also, my Venmo's open.
You're not going to get paid to go on a show that you asked to go on.
What?
I barely get paid to go on this show. My name's on it.
Speaking about getting paid, Mohawk Honda's the spot for you. We're going to be there Thursday, this upcoming Thursday, March 10th, 4 to 5:30, the Plate Change Challenge. Nailed it. Plate Change Challenge. I hope it's great like it's been in the past. Levack, we might be a part of it. We might be commentating. We might have the champion on. Something awesome is going to happen. I already know what's starting on their social media pages on March 7th. The graphics are up. The brackets are up. All really cool stuff going on there. But if you want a new vehicle, how great of a way to start off March. You get a new ride. You take some time off from work. Watch March Madness. And then you enjoy the tournament. 2022 Pilot EXL sitting in the driveway right now. You can afford it. Shout out to everybody over there from Greg Johnson, Cam McKenna, Brian McKenna, Lindsey Herron, and more. Looking forward to finding out who we're going to give a shout out to. John Lucas as well. The Plate Change Challenge Championship coming up on Mohawk Honda. By the way,
I'm willing to accept applications for me to be your hype man. So like in the past, Lindsey Herron has made me her hype man. She has not requested me yet. There is time. If you need an old school wrestling heel hype man, holla at your boy.
Yes, there you go. Lindsey, whoever wants Levack in the corner.
If Lindsey says first, I'm out because Lindsey's my girl. So hurry up, everybody.
Bobby Heenan, Paul Heyman, Captain Lou Albano, whatever you want to call him, he will be there to help you out. And by the way, March is here, so that means you can donate some of your athletic equipment. Going to a great cause. For more information on that, check out the Mohawk Honda and Mohawk Chevrolet Facebook page throughout the month of March. Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you.
You know about the Mohawk family? Guys, you know I'm cheap. Like I know the stereotype is that Jewish people are cheap. Scottish people are ridiculously cheap. I was raised like to pinch a penny so hard a booger will come out of Lincoln's nose. That's how I was raised. I love my truck so much that I got from Mohawk Chevrolet, the Mohawk family, that I paid for the unlimited monthly washes over at the Hoffman's. That's how much I love my truck. I can't allow the salt to be on it. Like, you know me, I'm cheap. To have another $30 or $40 a month come out of my bank account freaks me the freak out. And I just I have to do it. My truck just looks, I love it too much to let it look like crap. So that's how great of a vehicle to help you find. So there you go.
I like it.
That's it. There he is. That's it. So I historically have two styles of wagering, right? Especially when it comes to football. I do break down the game, like strengths, weaknesses, all those things, but I will almost always yield to where's the money, where's the thing that doesn't make sense, right? So like when the Knicks and the Suns are playing, and the Knicks are only getting 6.5 points. Don't talk about injuries. Like the Suns could roll out their fifth team and probably beat the freaking Knicks, and they pretty much did. 6.5. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to bet you Knicks because I don't trust you, but I'm going to watch this game because you're going to be in it. I can feel it. Knicks find a way to lose at the freaking buzzer again. I am so sick and freaking tired of this team. Julius Randle, who won so much love and respect last year, is off to a great start in this game. Can't control his emotions. Gets booted in 2 tacks. Like it's just such a freaking joke. Like, you want another reason I need baseball back? Because the Knicks are giving me a blue and orange freaking ulcer. I'm so madly in hate with this team and its ability to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory that I wasn't even drinking last night, but I almost popped one because of the Knicks. The Knicks.
This was supposed to be their moment for the season, right? We were supposed to lead off this March weekend podcast to talk about them. And now, like, think about it scheduling-wise. This is one of the reasons why we wanted to do it on a Sunday morning, because if the Knicks come off a victory on a Friday and beat the Phoenix Suns, arguably the NBA favorite to win the championship, we're talking about a whole different Knicks team. There's a momentum going into the playoff. Can they get to the playoffs? Who can they beat? Can they break through and win a playoff series? How would New York fans respond? We could have really made a really good case here that this is the biggest New York storyline for the next month, and it's not the Nets because of the Nets losing and injuries and everything else. This was the Knicks' moment to go back to the showcase, the spotlight. And Cam Johnson launches it like he's Jalen Suggs from a half court, basically, and knocks it down and wins that game. They had opportunities. As you mentioned, Julius Randle loses his cool. RJ Barrett's had a really good season. He's somewhere in between breaking through, living up to the hype, and just being a stat stuffer for a fantasy team. I don't know. I'm doing this with my hands on the audio side. They can't see. That's just
about rising in volume.
Right. I feel like the old floating inflatable thing at a car dealership right now with RJ Barrett, but that's where he's been all over the place at times with this. So yeah, Knicks fans like you, that was your moment last night.
Yeah.
And they just went full Nick mode of the past and blew it.
I think RJ Barrett has proven that he is a legit two. Like he give him a star, like what we thought Julius Randle was going to be able to be after last year, and he could be. It's the high ceiling. He could be a Scottie Pippen caliber two, like that two that's so freaking good. You're like, hey, he should be a one until he is. Like he's got that skill. I don't think he's the star that's going to take the Knicks franchise, to the glory days of like the 70s and early 90s. But I do think he has that kind of skill that if you were a James Harden, skill, not attitude. If you're a Kevin Durant, if you're whatever is left in the toothpaste tube that is LeBron James' career, you go stand next to an RJ Barrett and your night gets better. Like you're better because how good he is. But he's kind of wasted right now because Randall's back to being an idiot. The team's not playing defense. I heard an interview, like post game with Randall the other night, where he said the difference between this season and last season is last season, Tibbs would show them what to do and they would go do it. This season, Tibbs is showing them what to do and they're not doing it. So like he's actually like, I wonder if some of the reason Randall's playing so poorly is his frustration with his teammates, that they're not executing the way he's supposed to be executing, or even himself, that he's not executing the way he's supposed to be executing.
We go from Tom Thibodeau to being the coach of the year to exactly what you just noted, not connecting with the players, whether it's just fatigue of the same mention, whether it's an ego thing with the Knicks that they think they're much better than they are. Maybe it's the New York hype around them. There is some type of disconnect this season. We could look at the East and say more teams were aggressive in the offseason, but Knicks fan has done the aggressive offseason thing for 2 decades and it didn't work. And then they sat back for 1 season and now it's not working. So it's damn if you do, damn if you don't for the Knicks. Here's the hope. Even though they choked that game away against Phoenix, even though it's a great opportunity, there were some shades of, okay, it's not as bad as it's been the last 15 years. Like that is Phoenix. That is not, it's not a banged up Golden State. It's not a Miami missing Jimmy Butler or the Bucks sitting guys. That is a really good team they had against. I know Chris Paul's injured and everything else, but hopefully that sparks something and says, all right, if we can hang with Phoenix on a Friday night, we can still beat teams in the East. That is still remaining to be seen, though.
I am going to share with you something that shakes me to my core, okay? I did something so egregious that I'm angry with myself. I'm so mad at my Knicks and enjoying watching the Celtics play. I have a $17 to win it all bet on the Celtics right now.
Whoa!
Plus 2,500. I jumped in. I saw our guys at Inside the Walls. Celtics hottest team in the East right now. Knicks doomed themselves to game 1 last season. I don't know about that. Knicks doom themselves every day, I feel like. But I agree. The Celtics are the team that can beat any team on any given night, but they also are the team that will lay down any team on any given night. Just in case, $17 win like 400 something, but I bet on a Boston team to win it all, guys. That's how much I'm over my freaking Knicks right now. That's what's happening right now.
As much as I'd like to criticize you and say, how dare you? How could you go full heel against the New York team? Boston's really good.
They're really good.
Boston, sometimes basketball is simple and easy like this. They put up a lot of points. They got scores. They got guys who can put it in the basket. They're simple and easy as that. Like Brad Stevens makes the transition away from the sidelines to the executive role and everything he's doing. Boston just flat out scores. And last night, it's a perfect segue into this conversation because Boston plays Memphis this week. Boston goes out, and Boston, by the way, is a dog in that game against Memphis. And Boston beats them outright. And Jason Tatum was the story, and Boston putting up points. I know John Morant almost basically took a break in that game after the unbelievable stuff he was doing the past week. Memphis kind of load management's maybe not the right term to use here, but they just basically said, we got to keep this guy fresh for when we really need him, and they decided to pull him back a little bit against Boston. But they can score. They got athletes. Boston is that team where look,
They
if
play
you don't
defense.
like exactly right. If you don't like Philadelphia with James Harden, if you think Milwaukee's been cruising too much, why not Boston? Why isn't this a season that all these young guys live up to the hype that they've had?
I'm using that money to buy Yankee tickets if I win it, just so we know, just to like pen it. I think this is the most interaction we've had in an NBA conversation that wasn't about something off the court ever. Instacam, Wizards fan, lost his poop the last month because they're the losing streak. He's sick and tired of it. Inside the wall still here. They took the challenge. Celtics will be last year's Suns. They will lose to Golden State. Don't do that to me. I need that money. Now I sold my soul for 17 pieces of silver. Don't do that to me. Don't wish me that where I did it and I lose. But no, it's the NBA. Like NBA is actually really fun right now. You got the March Madness. I hate to circle this all back around. You got the LeBron soccer. Baseball, you better get you together because people don't seem to care that you're not here right now.
Yeah, people are running by you right now. That's it. Like look, when sports fans have conversations about all this, because our graphic here, we got 3 topics from the NBA. When baseball's giving you nothing, you're going to get back nothing. When you have no reason to care, people are going to find something else to care about. The Ja Morant MVP thing is in LeBron and him together on this conversation. He is now past everybody as the most exciting player to watch in the NBA, right? Like if you had no interest in like a Knick game, like let's just say you're a generic fan, you back up a little bit, like I don't have a rooting interest. Ja Morant is the most must-see thing in the NBA right now when he's out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who I would rather watch because I think there's players that I prefer style, this, that, and the other thing. But when you talk about like the chance you're going to hear da-da-da, a Sports Center top 10, I'm putting my money on Ja. Like that's where I'm going.
He's become Vince Carter meets Derrick Rose because his dunks are just so stupid. Like he had the dunk the other night where he just almost took off from the foul line. I'm like, what am I watching? Is this CGI? Like, why did this kid play at Murray State? Because he was loyal to the scholarship offer and he's making Memphis relevant, even though. Look, the big man from Denver, we know how good he is. Jokic, like, he could be the MVP, but when you watch Ja Morant, you're just like, oh, my God. And then, like, Derrick Rose, like, I use that comparison because, I like him. I like his style. But when you have a guard that athletic who can do it everything, it's just like, I can't stop watching Ja Morant. Play him all the time unless I'm wagering against him like I did and won that Celtic bet the other night. So I appreciate that for that rest. And then you got LeBron, who used to be that guy. And the Lakers are terrible. The Knicks stink. The Lakers are worse. The Lakers are old and terrible. At least the Knicks have young players. The Lakers are old, slow, and terrible.
Well, and the expectation level too. Like, if you're a Knicks fan, you went into this season hoping to continue on from last season. Maybe win the first tournament, first playoff series. If you're a Lakers fan, you went into this season going, let's win it all. There's only clock's ticking on LeBron James. We got AD. Like, let's win it all. They are a shell of themselves, and you can't help but think when you've got LeBron, you could turn it around in a given minute. Like he could just click and start willing them to a 10-game win streak or something like that. But it doesn't feel like anybody on that team believes in that team. Like the Knicks players do go out and they look like they're trying. It turns into like an episode of Double Dare on old Nickelodeon where they're slipping all over the court and looking stupid. But at least they think they can win. The Lakers go out there and it's like, well, I got a 10 a.m. tea time. I want to hit the club for a little bit tonight. Let's just get this done and get out of here. Let's call it a day. They don't seem to believe in themselves. And LeBron, maybe he's already saving those legs for when he gets to go play with his kid at whatever in Cleveland or wherever else.
That's right, with Memphis or somewhere else where he's like, okay, I'm just done with this. That's right.
Yeah, but again, I don't even know if I'm watching the NBA with how bad the Knicks are. If baseball could get their crap together, like if baseball could have got their crap together, I'm probably between college hoops, the occasional NBA game, and spring training, just trying to see who the Yankees have. Like used to be who the Yankees have wearing 70s and 90s that may or may not make the team, but that is the star roster right now because there's no numbers left. But
you didn't mention one thing, and that is the NFL Combine going on this weekend. But before we talk about the Combine, I want to tell you about our friends over at Lily and David Fine Jewelers, Levack. It is a big weekend for them. A little combination here of NFL Combine a Lily and David Fine Jewelers, because if you are looking for the perfect gift for her, this is one of the great weekends to head over to Lily and David Fine Jewelers at their new location, the Shops of Wilton. You're going to see it on our ticker. You're going to see it on our info for our audio sign as well. It is Wedding Band Weekend. How about this? You buy a wedding band, you get the other one for free. That's right. Whoever's with you for free or 40% off. They at Lily and David Fine Jewelers is going to work with you to find out exactly what fits your budget. Trust me, as somebody who took advantage of this deal, there's the wedding band. Look at that. Nice and easy right there into the camera. It helps out when you're prepping for wedding season. Whatever is going through your budget, you want to cross this off and say wedding band done, simple, taken care of. Love the crew over at Lily and David Fine Jewelers. I've worked with them, whether it's the engagement ring, the anniversary, maybe you've got a big birthday gift that you just need. Here's the weekend to do it. You get ready. You go out on this Saturday. You enjoy the event, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on March 5th and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. March 4th. So figure out those dates. Mark them in your calendar right now. New Shop of Wilton location is where you can find Lily and David Fine Jewelers. When you stop in this weekend, follow them on Facebook. Tell them you heard about it from Levack and Goz here on Godzilla Media.
I only want one ring. I'm going to marry myself. That's I like me. I know what I like. Nice dinner, save some money. Can't divorce myself. That's the way I want to roll. All right, so here's the deal. Of course, thanks to Techie Fire and Water Restoration, best way back normal. Visit them online, tefirewater.com. We're on their Facebook page live. We're live on Godzilla Media's YouTube. We are live on Goz's Twitter. Don't know why, but we're there. Apple, Spotify, make sure you rate, review, sacrifice a chicken to a god. I don't know, whatever it is. I've been watching a lot of Vikings Valhalla lately. Sorry. I actually haven't been watching the Combine. I watched a little bit yesterday because I don't know why, like the running back position always fascinates me at the Combine more than anybody else. Like during the 40s, which is weird because the wide receiver stole the show with so many sub 4.3 40s. But the running backs, like Kenny Skywalker III, some of these guys are just mammoth, and they're moving at 4.4 speed, and they're cutting and they're catching footballs. But the worst thing is, I don't know what's on Kenny Walker's shoulder. Have you seen it?
Yes.
I think did he get branded? Like, I know that was a thing for like fraternities for a while. They were getting branded. Like, he's got this huge thing on his shoulder. And if that was intentional, dear God, that boy loves pain and he won't kill somebody. Because I burned myself before, and this boy don't love pain. Don't kill somebody. Like, if you like that kind of pain, that something raised up like that far off your shoulder just to tell people that you're part of a group, you're going to lower your shoulder and take somebody's freaking head off in the middle of a hole on a Sunday.
Yeah, those things like that, I'm like, is it a cool style tattoo that you just want to do it different? Is it a branding thing? Is it like when you were younger and you got burned accidentally, it just never healed the right way? Like, I always think about Aldo from the MMA fighter from the UFC, like he had that big scar because he got burned when he was young. I don't know what it is.
But if you're a professional fighter, you want to keep that scar. Like, you want to, like, if you're like I've got a burn on mine, but it's not, it's a scar. I don't know how to fix it because I'm fat and old. But like, you're a fighter, you keep that. That brand thing scares the hell out of me. Like I said, I know people who have them, and I'm like, worst pain of your life? They're like, no, and then nobody's around. Like, yes, never. Like, that was like, I'm like, did it smell like bacon? Like, what happened? Like, what is it like? Because we're meat. Like, I'm just curious. Like, I don't get that stuff, man. That freaked me out so bad. I mean, not only did that guy just shred Michigan last year, he's out burning himself for fun. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Chris Olave, by the way, super speedster, unbelievable at Ohio State. He was the one. I'm like, this guy, shout out to our guy Trout at the Hideaway. We've been saying he's the best wide receiver in the country. For whatever reason, voting-wise, he doesn't get nominated for the Blitnikoff and then goes out and tears it up there in the Combine. And, of course...
Was he second fastest, too?
Yes.
I think there was the other receiver, like Thornton or whatever the hell it was,
who set a new record for the fastest Combine time ever recorded, which I thought, what about Chris Johnson? What about John Ross? He's in the conversation as one of the fastest ever recorded. Do you want to do the hand comparison now? Kenny Pickett, Levack, 8.5-inch hands. I think if we watched the ESPN coverage, was it Laura Rutledge may have had bigger hands than Kenny Pickett? The concern is out there.
Do you know that he was on NFL Network Radio talking about his hand size? And he goes, well, there's exercises you can do to make them look. He goes, it's the pinky to the thumb. So you just do these stretching exercises so it like makes it. I'm like, not only do you have hands that can't hold a Whopper, you're now effing with your grip. You're now changing your grip. Like, and like those fingers are the ones that like sit on the threads the most on the football. So that's no wonder that these guys don't work out. Like you your hands are smaller, so it's harder to do what you need to do in the first place. And then they got them changing their grip just to get a better measurement. I prefer if he just went, because like he'll never be able to hold the ball at Heinz Field. Well, that's what he's done through college because that's where he played. So like I'd rather he was just like, F you guys, draft me or don't. I don't care. I do not care. I'm going to smack somebody. Just if you draft me late, I'm going to beat you all anyway. Then to sit there and talk about changing his grip.
No, don't do that. Don't look. So many quarterbacks, especially high-level quarterbacks. The two that jump out to me the quickest are Tim Tebow and Phillip Rivers. Where remember that one summer Tebow was like, Tebow's back because he changed the way he throws.
Yeah.
Your mind, when you've had success, and this is the important part about it, when you've had success doing something a certain way in a high level of success, you're just not going to change it. Like, hey, this works for me. I don't care how you do it. And that goes for anything. A sales way, sports radio, sports podcasts, whatever. Like athletes, if you have success doing something and you can prove it works, then why change it? Hell, I think that's science at some point. There's that meme, right? Like it's science with Ron Burgundy. That's what it works. Phillip Rivers is the other one. Phillip Rivers used to throw the ball like way over here, like off the didn't matter. Yeah. Like he got the ball to the receiver. Yeah, he had some balls broken up and everything else, but Pickett's hands aren't going to grow. I feel like it's the Always Sunny meme, right? With Charlie's uncle, where it's like the fake Halloween hands are going to go over his hands now. He was really good at Pitt. If you want to criticize Pickett for being older because he took a few years in college, like, you know, the red shirt, the COVID, okay, like that's a fair criticism. If you want to say the ACC had a down season because powers traditionally like Clemson, Florida State, and Miami weren't as good, okay, like those are good criticisms. The fact that I don't know if he knows how to grip a football. What happened in the last 5 years we watched him? And like you just said, he played in Pittsburgh. He didn't play in Cali. He didn't play in he played in Pitt. And he's got, it's like an overused term, but he almost has like a warrior mentality to him. Like where he wants to hurt you. Like he wants to show you each and every time he goes out there. So you got a guy who played in the East Coast, played in colder weather, who has that mentality. That's why he's not Goff. That's why he's not Goff. Like I knew Goff was going to suck. I told you all he couldn't hold the football. I told you he sucked. And look what happened when he didn't have a running game. And now look at him. Now he's been exiled to Detroit. He's screwed. Like, there's guys that when that's the only narrative, I do think it matters. I'm sorry. When it's the only narrative, hand size matters. But when you have real narratives of, well, how's he going to play in cold weather? I don't know. How's he played in cold weather for the last 5 freaking years? Like, right. Well, yeah, but is he a winner? Is he going to do what it takes to win? They had to change rules in the NCAA because he's willing to like fake slides to get where he needs to be. Like is he going to work? You never know. I mean, it's freaking combine. It's the underwear Olympics. Like who knows? But I like his chances far better than I like Jared Goff. And maybe more I like Burrows at the time. Who knows? Whatever. Burrows one good year. Who was that? Was that Taylor on Twitter? Taylor, how dare you? Sports with the Zenith team. What were you interning? Yeah. What were you producing that show? How dare you remember a tape?
Well, that was back when Taylor couldn't talk. That was back when Taylor was mute. I told Taylor a long time ago. Like I was like, dude, if I knew you spoke, I would have listened. What the hell happened to you? When did you start speaking? That kid wouldn't have said shit if he had a mouthful of it back in the day. Now he just shut up.
Yeah, now he's got his fantasy takes. By the way, I'm still angry at Marcus Morris, Taylor. I know you just liked the tweet that suggested that, but I'm blaming you for missing that pick, even though that makes no sense. That's how I've rationalized it.
He's still – listen, once an intern, always an intern. Keep blaming him. It's okay.
That's right. That's right. The only athlete besides Pickett's small hands that has stuck out to me, and this is kind of weird, the Evan Neal thing, have you seen this about the the Alabama offensive lineman who is like 6'8" and 337? It's like, oh my God, he looks great for 337. He holds it so. This is creepy, right? Like if we're judging how a guy looks with his, we've done some creep things. The Chris Jones thing falling down and exposed, but now judging a man's weight about how he looks, like okay, I guess.
Dude, there are some of the biggest problem with the combine, aka Underwear Olympics, is that's part of it. Like back in the day, they wore these like baggy shirts and all this other stuff, and it was bad enough. Now it's like these dudes are damn near naked out there. Like you get during the running back competition, like the workouts and everything. I learned a lot about some of those guys. I know their religion. I know I know that they couldn't ever fall all the way forward. Like they picked them apart, and I think the legitimate part of the conversation that you're hearing with the how he looks at 337 is, Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton is a freak. He's a huge athlete, whatever. He got a little lazy last year, and that big frame became a detriment where he's getting hurt a little bit, and he's carrying more weight than he's supposed to. Some frames are built to carry 330, 337. Some frames aren't. Like if he came in with, a little Dunlop, with the Dunlop disease, where your belly Dunlop over your belt, then you're like, yo, you ain't supposed to be 337. But if he comes in and he's almost beat up and he's 337, he's pushing people around and moving well, you are 337. That's it. Okay, go for it.
Do your thing. Congratulations. We got more drills coming up, and we get more excitement. We'll get a new mock coming out and everything else. So yeah.
Speaking of drills.
Yes.
I have to,
what a segue.
I was gonna go because Doctor is a dentist too, but he's a holistic dentist, which is very cool. He's very worried about your overall well-being, which is why Dr. Fred Dreer got into sleep studies. He figured all that stuff out, and that's why he opened the Integrated Sleep Center in Boston Spa. Doc Fred Dreer is helping me sleep better. He'll help you sleep better too. It's a mouthpiece, simple, easy to use, easy to clean. I love the damn thing, man. It keeps my bottom jaw forward just a little bit and keeps my airway open. I have a very large, soft palate. What's up, ladies? So if I let my jaw fall back, I'll snore. And I had severe sleep apnea, which means I wasn't breathing. So this keeps the air moving. It keeps me breathing. Keeps the snoring under control to the point where people don't feel the need to put a pillow over my head for that reason. And it all started by calling 518-885-6185. 518-885-6185, Doc Fred Dreer and the Integrated Sleep Center in Boston Spa, helping me sleep better. They're going to help you sleep better too. That's what I'm talking about. March Madness. The madness is upon us. I just want to say something, guys. F Coach K. I don't care.
What?
I just don't care. I just don't care. I'm actually going to bet North Carolina today and hope they spoil everything.
Oh my God.
I hope they spoil everything.
He's the greatest college basketball coach, most wins ever.
All right, spell his last name without looking down. That's what I thought. I don't care. I'm so over it. Like I used to love Coach K, but I feel like he's become testy, angry old man. Like he's becoming Boeheim. Like he's angry old man coach lately, and I just don't care. Oh, I'm so sad you're leaving. No, he's the guy that if he was at the party, you're like, listen, at 6 o'clock, he was the life of the party. At 7, it was kind of cool. 8, he started being a real bitch about everything, and I hope he leaves. So he started being a real bitch about everything. Get out, beat it, let's go. I can't wait for Duke fan to have to deal with what everybody else deals with, not having the greatest coach. Beat it.
The Coach K coverage today is a little much, right? Like when you ask for the farewell tour, let me do the math here. 10 hours of coverage because we're starting College Game Day at 10 o'clock. You might be watching it right now because it's a 2-hour edition of College Game Day. Yep. And then it goes all the way through the ACC network covering his biggest games and everything else. And then tip-offs at 6. So we got 10. I feel like an hour special about Coach K is good enough. And I know he's the greatest coach, arguably of all time, him and John Wooden. But it might be a little much. I'll give you that. It might be a little much this year. I don't think we needed the farewell tour for Coach K. Roy Williams walked out on his own.
Sorry, I just had a great moment where I looked down at one of my mobile accounts, and it's like triple what I thought it was. So I must have won really big the last time I bet and just didn't realize it. Huh.
Nice. Hey.
It's almost like I've always been the guy that when I go to the bars, I'll just keep throwing money in my pocket. Like I'll pay if you had $100 and it was all 20s, so you had like 5, you go out, I just keep using the 20s until they're gone. And then I'll go in and start figuring out where the 5s, the 10s, and the 1s are. That's where the beer monkeys come from. You know, the beer monkeys, replace all your 20s with ones and they shit in your mouth. I think I've become like that with betting now, where like you do your wash, all of a sudden you got a bunch of singles. Like, look at this laundry money, woohoo! Now I'm the guy who every once in a while gets drunk and I'll throw like a $10 like 4-team parlay together, and it's like I wake up I'm like either $10 light or I'm like $175, up. And apparently it was the latter for this one, and I don't even know what I bet. I'll have to look.
All right, well, while you're looking to find out how you just cashed in, yeah, Coach K, like, look. If you love Duke, that's your squad, cool. You roll with Coach K, he's had a historic career, Mike Krzyzewski, all that stuff, wonderful. Duke is good every single year. But if you were a Duke hater, I think we can put the Duke fans.
Dookie, am I right?
Yeah, but like there's like the generic fan that likes Duke, the Cowboys, the Yankees, and the Lakers. Like
they're called front runners, bandwagon fans, guys. If you will.
If you will, right. So this season, what is the realistic expectation? One of my favorite things to talk about for the Duke Blue Devils. Is it the same like they have to win the national championship? There's talks that they have five NBA guys on this roster, that they've already got a succession plan, which we're going to get to here in a second about another team, that John Shire's taken over no matter what. Okay. Like Duke is good every single year. You could argue right now in this final weekend of the regular season in college hoops that Duke is the best team, although there were so many upsets last week that Gonzaga still sits at number one. Okay, great. But I like that point you said there about Krzyzewski, because I think you can group them in. Krzyzewski, Roy Williams, Jim Boeheim, hell, Rick Pitino, who took a shot at Albany this week. Like that era of coaches, what they were used to, the Hall of Famers, the sport of college basketball is completely different 20 years ago compared to what it is now, and hell, 10 years ago compared to what it is now with NIL and one and dones and worried about your brand and like the whole thing is different. And like we just mentioned earlier in this podcast, sometimes when stuff starts to change, it might be time to leave. Like, all right, I'm good. Like I this is not my thing anymore. This is a different thing that I signed up for. I'm good. Thank you very much. Call you later. Bye-bye.
Smell you later is more like it.
But Duke is really good, unfortunately.
Again. Yeah. No, they're going to lose. They're going to lose today. I don't know. Not going to lose, but maybe they won't cover the 11. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I'm over it. There's certain times like you stay too long. You know what I mean? Like some players I loved. Like I loved watching Brett Favre play football. The 16th time he came back, I was like, all right, dude, enough. You can stop now. Like, when Brady flirts with not retiring the rest of this offseason just to keep the attention that he loves so much. All right, dude, go. Enough. Coach K, here's his go, you're angry. You don't like being here. Happy trails to you. Beat it.
One more. Wait, we got to add one more. You got to add Aaron Rodgers, who I think you called this about Odell Beckham Jr. a few years ago. He is now, and Charles Barkley said this, I think he stole your line. Aaron Rodgers has become the pretty girl who every single day someone has to tell her she's pretty. Rodgers' new report, he hasn't decided yet. The 12-day pooping cleanse hasn't helped him out.
The difference between Rodgers and everybody else I just mentioned, at one point I liked all those other people. He's fun to watch play football, and he does. I think the most detrimental thing that Aaron Rodgers does for his own legacy is he makes it look effortless. Like the things he does, almost nobody, like maybe 3 to 4 other quarterbacks can do, but he does it so effortlessly, and he looks like he's got that Jay Cutler face half the time where you're like, does he want to smoke a cigarette, throw a touchdown, or take a nap? I'm not really sure. Maybe he's going to do a 10-day poop cleanse. I don't whatever. But like he is amazing. If he just wasn't such a dickbag, it'd be easier to be excited about where he goes and what he does.
One other one to add to that list, by the way, I hit him quickly in passing, was Jim Boeheim, who, how about this story that's now broke about people may have overstayed their welcome. So there was a story that ran locally in Syracuse about what's the future of Jim Boeheim, and Boeheim said he's not a quitter. He's not going to step away after a bad season, all this. Now, this is how I viewed it. Maybe some reporters who did the research will have a different take on it. There's a legendary caller in Syracuse named Pat in Syracuse who borderline somewhere between a college basketball savant or Stan from the Eminem music video. Whatever you want to put Pat on that list, that's where he is. But he called into one of the shows and said, all I want is Jim Boeheim to give us a succession plan, right? Sort of like the HBO show. All I want to know is what happens when he leaves. Just give us an idea of what the program is going to be like when you're gone. Sure enough, Boeheim called into the show 2 days later to give us a session plan and said there's been one in the works for years, but he's not going to tell us what it is and a few other things. Levack, that's my take. Some would say it's just a talking point in Central New York. I feel like Jim Boeheim is not responding to callers, calling him out and criticizing him, and just randomly calling into radio shows. You want to talk about somebody who's been a little bit testy about how long he's staying somewhere. That is a new level of pettiness for Coach Boeheim.
The only thing I disagree with what you're saying right now is that he's getting testy. He's been testy. Like that dude, even when he was in a good mood, was in a bad mood. But like your finger's on the pulse of, Central, Western, still upstate New York. You know who that guy is, right? I guarantee people in Boeheim's life know who that guy is. So whether Boeheim heard it or not, from was Pat in Syracuse, so he said his name?
Yeah.
Somebody went to him, maybe multiple people went to him, went, yeah, this Pat in Syracuse started a whole poop storm for you about, are you going to, you have a succession plan? Or are you just going to leave us high and dry? And he was like, he probably heard it from 2-3 people and then went out and went, we have a succession. Like, so he did answer that guy, but maybe it wasn't just because they said it. Maybe people around him heard it and said it, but he's got to know that's the biggest criticism. You had a succession plan and you outlasted it to the point where it left. And now we're supposed to believe you have another one. Actually, we're supposed to believe you care about anything other than yourself. And I don't. I don't, and I haven't for a long time. I'm not a big Boeheim guy. I know that's been a bone of contention for you and I, but I think you're finally starting to see it my way.
The thing that bothered me the most about the quote was I'm not going to quit. Hang on. Wait. There's a difference between quit and retire. Dude, you've been there for 46 years.
You paid your pants in public. You can go. You're allowed to leave then.
No one is going to think less of you because you retired in your late 70s. No one says quit. It's retired. It's not a big thing.
By the logic he's supplying, guys, unless you win the national championship, he's going to leave. He's not going to leave. So you're going to be rolling him out there at 95 with a whiteboard. Here, zone, and then just go.
We've done this in sports, right? Like it's Paterno and Bowden are the first two that jump to my mind, and maybe there's another one, whether it's college basketball or maybe even like a professional sport where they had great careers. And at some point it's like, okay, like it's time to go.
Right.
Like it's as much as I can't stand Doug Gottlieb, he had a great point about this, whether it's his former coach, Eddie Sutton at Oklahoma State, got Raleigh, the late Raleigh Massimino, like Jim Calhoun is coaching Division III right now. Coaches, maybe more so even than athletes, have this mindset where it's what they do all the time. Coaches probably outstay their welcome more than anybody else because, the athletic competition, your body is not breaking down or getting slower, so it's harder to realize what's happening. But they're just trained to do that. That's their job. That's what they want to do. So, yeah, I'm totally with look, I love Syracuse. I already know that, blah, blah. It's time. It's time. It's been time. It's time to move on. It's okay.
I heard
Don't call it quitting, man.
I heard
I'm not a part of the secession plan. Not that I know of.
I heard it's you. Oh, maybe it's TG2. Maybe TG2 is
Rick Pitino. You want to start that rumor? Pitino, the former assistant at Syracuse, he denied he's going to Maryland. Jerry McNamara. There's rumors he interviewed for Siena years ago. Who wants to start the rumors of who it is?
Pitino hates Siena and Albany so much he's never going to leave Iona just so he can keep trying to stick it to him. You want to talk about somebody who like let it get to them, something that was said and done. Pitino straight up hates the Cap region now. He'll come here for Saratoga because his buddy and him own horses, but that dude's got hate in his heart for the Cap region.
What was up with that quote? And for those who don't know what we're talking about, Mark Singlaze tweeted out that Pitino basically ripped Albany. He said, "We're not going to Albany for the MAC tournament. No disrespect to Albany, but we want to go have fun at Atlantic City." I'm like, your players aren't out at the crabs table, going to. What are you talking about? Have fun? It's your season's on the line.
Guys, he has a great point. He has a phenomenal. You just don't understand. No offense, strip clubs in this area kind of suck. He can't recruit during the MAC tournament with like DeCarlos had its day. I used to love going to DeCarlos, but you're not. I'm sure AC's got a little more. The laws in New York State prohibit these strip clubs from getting him the players he needs.
I'm thinking about talking about Pitino. Jared Lozier hanging out with Rick Pitino. That's what I'd like to see.
When I think of strip clubs, I think of Jared Lozier.
Northeastern Insurance. There's a reason why they're going to be named Insurance Agency, the best one here in the capital region because of guys like Jared. Give him a call today, 518-956-3753. 518-956-3753. We always joke around like what you should email Jared. Here's the one if you've waited for all these podcasts. You, me, Rick Pitino, ? Atlantic City. See what Jared's response is and just send it to me personally. I would love that. JAREDL@nemail.com. If you're looking for an insurance policy or you want to maybe shop for the quotes, find out if you can save some cash this year for the things that are important to you, your home, your car.
Or if you want to swing the golf clubs with an overrated golfer.
There you go. Or you just want to find out about Rick Pitino and what he does. Those are the things you can do with Jared Lozier. Email him. Pitino, you, me, Atlantic City. And also, can I get a quote? JAREDL@nemail.com.
I love it. All right. So I am so fired up for UFC 272. Levack and Goz right here. Techie Fire and Water Restoration Facebook page as well as Godzilla Media's YouTube. Rate, and if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, tell people we're on Spotify because everybody asked me if we are, and we are. Just like tell people, hey, you know Levack and Goz are on Spotify. That was at the beer summit, guys. That was like the number one. Hey, oh my God, I miss you guys. Like, oh, we're doing a podcast. Well, can I get it on Spotify? Yeah. What's it called? Well, I'm not super creative. It's still just Levack and Goz.
Just type our name in, guys. Come on. Do you want us to go in your car and set it up for you? Plug it in? Like, it's not.
We will. Because we will. We'll do it. Yeah. I know you will. When I said we, I meant you. Okay. 272 tonight. I am so torn because I love Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal is one of my favorite fighters, both for the way he fights in the ring, for the way he speaks. It's fun. His story is phenomenal. He was very cool to you and I on Radio Row in Miami. Like way cooler than I ever thought he would be. To the point, like I think if I had like gone like bro stalker on him right then and gone, yo man, let's switch numbers. I think I could have got his number. Like I think we could be like. I think he and I could be texting right now, but I was just like, I'm not going to be that dude. Regretting it now. Like him that much. But I think Covington's going to win tonight. I just think I almost always side with the more active fighter. And I don't mean active per fight. I just mean Masvidal hasn't really been fighting a lot. Covington went away for a second, came back, whatever. I feel like Covington's the more active fighter. Just feel like he is. And there's less rust, which makes me feel like Covington's the play tonight.
Well, let's double down on that, right? Not only is he a more active fighter, actually experienced and everything else, he's better. Like that's not a shot to Jorge Masvidal. Like I'm totally with. Hurtful. Well, that's what it is, right? Like if Kamaru Usman wasn't walking on planet Earth right now, Colby Covington would be a champion. That's it. Like Covington should be the champ if he could beat just one guy. And unfortunately, like I just jumped ahead.
That one guy's really good.
Right. Like the old Daniel Cormier, John Jones thing. Like people would consider Daniel Cormier maybe the greatest of all time if he defeated John Jones. People would consider Colby Covington, although a great fighter, one of the greatest of all time, if you could buy Kamaru Usman. That's it. Like the Jorge Masvidal thing. I love how you set that up with our Super Bowl talk because getting to know him, not just like the Flash, like the Miami street fighter, but sitting down, watching him like almost grow as a person, as a fighter, like, okay, I've reached it. Like, this is it. I'm on Radio Row. I'm the fighter they're talking about. Like, I'm the McGregor, because you interviewed McGregor a few years previous. Like, this was the guy that the UFC wanted to get out to as many people as possible. And he was awesome. And I became a fan of him that day. The problem with Jorge Masvidal is he has lost 15 fights in his career. And we're not even talking about the Miami street fight days. Like, we're just talking the UFC. I wonder how much the knockout against Ben Askren has just hyped him up, and he hasn't been that same fighter, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, he knew the moment he knocked him out with the fastest knockout in UFC history, he was going to go from a fighter that UFC fans knew about to the next superstar of the sport because of how he connects with fans and his story and all that stuff. He hasn't been as good. And he's never been as good. Like, but Colby Covington is way better. And I'm rooting for Jorge Masvidal, but to what you said, like, he's just not the same type of fighter. Oh, by the way, I think I should add this. There are rumors out there. By the way, the UFC 272 press conference, what a mess that was. God, it was embarrassing. But there's rumors that Masvidal finally got paid. He finally got the contract he's been saying for like 2 years he wanted. Do you think that plays a factor in the fight, that when you know you've signed a deal and you've got millions of dollars finally coming, like the motivation to actually win this is like, I'm getting paid finally, like whether I get knocked out or I win, my money's finally coming?
I do, and I think that's part of the problem too. Is so Masvidal, he's got his own booze now. He's got, I think if Masvidal truly hates a guy and is truly motivated to beat him up, he's legit and is going to take you out. And I think he has beef with Covington, but I don't think he hates Covington as much as he's pretending he does. Covington might legitimately hate Masvidal more because I think he had more of a mentor role to him and he feels betrayed. He does, whether he was betrayed or not, he feels betrayed. I think Masvidal's a little comfortable. I think he's a little comfortable with what's going on. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he comes out and just smacks the nose off of Covington's face. I have nothing against the persona that Covington's got out there. I just don't like him as much as Masvidal. I don't care. Like, I think it's hysterical that he's used the Trump "Make America Great Again" anger to be a heel in fighting. I think it's hysterical. I think it's phenomenal. I think he really cares politically. I don't know. I don't care. I think he's used it perfectly to get pop and heat in this fight. So, but I just like Masvidal as a person. I hope he wins. I just don't think he does. By the way, I'm with our guy inside the wall. Guys, get some 5G, my man. You keep breaking out.
No! Oh my God! I got a great brand going. What the hell?
You're there. It's just your picture.
No! Yeah. Oh, I didn't even see it from my end. That even hurts me more. Yeah. And by the way, for the connection issues, I told Levack I have a brand new laptop sitting to my left. My sound is so awful on the new laptop. Clearly, one button got hit, and I'm like, Ronald Moore. I had an interview with him too. I had to shut down the whole thing, but we will fix the sound come Tuesday, so the new laptop will be used.
Yeah, we will fix.
He'll exploit himself, which might be true. So there's one other thing I got to add to this, because I feel like I asked you this before, and now that time has evolved, I got to ask you it again.
Okay.
Do you have more respect for Dana White than ever before? Because, and I set it up like this because you are in a spot now that you are the team president of the Albany Empire. Yep. You do the day-to-day things. I think I would say this to you whether we were talking right now or I wasn't with you. You handle the media far different than other team presidents would, and I think that's a compliment because you have the media background. And you also are very candid about it. Like, if you think a player's playing well, you'll tell us. If you think a signing's going well, like, you're very candid because you know what people want to hear. You want to hear the truth. And I think people might say the success of this show is about our authenticity and realness and everything else. Dana White's like that. Like, Dana White is authentic and real. Besides the stuff he says about Conor McGregor and John Jones, which gets too close to carnival barker stuff, everything else is authentic and real. Do you find yourself, as you're progressing in your role as the president of the Albany Empire, embracing your Dana White more? Do you not think about this stuff and only weirdos like me do? What do you does it have any effect on you how you're evolving, how Dana White does his job now?
I mean, dude, I've said a lot in the last couple of weeks. It's a lot more fun to talk shit about team presidents than it is to do what they do. It's a lot more fun. I think, look, I guess what I would go back to is I have a certain luxury that a lot of people don't have. Like, my team owner is legitimately one of my best friends. Like, I've known him almost my entire life. So it's like I never have to wonder if I'm doing the job he wants me to do because we have that candidacy with each other. Like, he would come to me and be like, "You, dude, what the F? Like, what are you doing?" He doesn't say dude, I do. But kind of kick back to your what you said earlier about quarterbacks, right? Don't change your skill set. You got the freaking job, right? So you hired me knowing my skill set. My skill set is this. I know media, I know radio, I know entertainment. So why wouldn't I continue on the way I always have? Obviously there's stuff I can't tell you. I can't tell you everything, but everything I can, and some of the things I can't, I still do. Because that's what I think that's what makes our team great, is the people that we have, the players that we have, and the ownership. The bigger role Mike Korda takes as the owner, the more we're guaranteed the team is going to be in Albany. If Mike Korda can't keep this team in Albany, nobody can. That's all there is to it. So buy your tickets, get your popcorn ready, because here we go. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. It's going to be crazy. We had potentially the worst Friday that we've had as an organization yesterday. Just things, hitting stops in the road and deals we thought we had done that just were kind of like kicked back to us and changed and this, that, and the other thing. And by the end of the day, there was a lot of us just looking around and went, we had the right people to get through it and to keep it moving forward and to make sure this team plays. Coach came into town early. Coach Moraz came in early to help get us moving in the right direction. We built this team in 10 days last year, and we're going to kick ass moving forward. I know that you didn't ask me about the team, but that's why it's like I can be open and I can be honest because I work for open and honest people.
No, it goes back to that Dana White comparison because Dana White, if there's a bad fight, he'd be like, man, I don't like when, oh my God, why am I blanking on the Tyrone, I'm blanking on his last name. The guy who wrote Tyrone Whitley, thank you, right? Like he doesn't like wrestlers. He doesn't like guys who take him to the ground and stuff. Like he'll call you out.
Just lay on him. Right.
Exactly. Hey, that wasn't a great fight. And no matter how much hype you put around it, he'll be like, all right, it wasn't a great fight. Like you just said, like, hey, we got our ass kicked on Friday. It happens.
Yeah.
Like, we can't win every single time we go out there, but some team presidents, and I'm not calling anybody out in particular, but some people, I think fans in particular can see through the BS and be like, dude, not every single day you're doing something great. Like, that's the work of social media, and that's the work of like, look at us, we never make mistakes. Whee! Or like, there are some people who do that.
Well, I don't think we made mistakes. I think the people we were dealing with did. That's
Oh, okay. Yeah. But that's why I bring that up. Like, look, these are two really. I just bring these guys up not in comparison to you because you're so early in this, but because it's people that you're fans of the teams like Al Davis and George Steinbrenner of. They almost were too hard and too critical of their athletes that they were a part of because they may have not had that perspective of, I didn't interview athletes. I didn't get to know them. You did. Like, this was your job. You've probably done 5,000 interviews with athletes and coaches and everything else where it's like, you'd be far more on their side. And I think Dana White's that same way where it's like, I want these guys to succeed because then I succeed. My business succeeds.
You can't, but you really can't. You can't compare me to Dana White because he's worth what, $400 or $500 million. I'm worth $4 or $5. So it's really not, and I've got a little bit more hair than him. But no, I like that Dana White. I think there is, you want to know a similarity? Like in the UFC, the stars are going to come and go, right? Your absolute best fighters. You're looking at what, a 5-year window, maybe, before the game catches them, or repetitive hits slow them down. With what we've dealt with in the Albany Empire from 2018 to 2022 is 2 different leagues, a pandemic, a bankruptcy from the old league. Like everything has changed from last year to this year. We went to Ironman. So where I would love to go and be like, just cherry pick all our talent from last year and bring them back again for the most part. Some of them don't fit Ironman. Some of them don't want to play both ways. So God bless them. I get that. Go play in a different league. But the similarity is we here in the front office of the Albany Empire have to be out front because we're consistent. We're going to be here. Some of these players, like, Darius Prince coming back, guys like that, it's awesome. Like, we'll keep pushing them forward. We'll make sure, Brandon Cissé's back in the community, all those things. But, like, at the end of the day, Coach Moraz, Mike Korda, Matt Woods. Now we got Ryan Hulub, Jamie Hensel, like Jeff Levack. We're going to be here to make sure that you always get the best team that we can put forward, the best product we can put forward. Dana's always going to be there to make sure you get the best fights put forward. Kobe Covington could break his leg and be gone for a year and a half tonight. Like you can't put it all on the athletes to do all the work to market for you. You've got to work with them and help them get that done. So I think that similarity is there. But then again, that finance thing, man, just really kicks me right in the teeth. It's bad.
Well, Levack, you're going to make a ton of money. You're going to make millions maybe with Cindy Martin on your side. How about that?
Oh, well,
can we do that?
I think if there's one person I would trust with my biggest investment, and that is my home, it's Cindy Martin. Cindy Martin, part of the Jen Karam team, Howard Hanna Realty. She is phenomenal. Cynthia Martin at howardhanna.com. When you're buying, when you're selling, you need somebody who's on your side. And that's why you call Cindy at 518-932-5558. 518-932-5558. That's her actual cell phone, okay? Because when you work with Cindy, you become one of her people. She cares about what happens next. She wants you to get top dollar when you're selling your home. That's why she works with the best group of local insurance, local inspectors, attorneys. She works locally and globally. If you're looking to buy a house out of market, she'll work with another attorney, another realtor to make sure you're set. That's what she does. Cindy Martin is amazing. Big fan of the Empire. Actually going to work with her. We're putting together our promo schedules, kind of coming together, and it looks like in July we'll have the Empire Tackles Cancer Pink Game. Nice. Cindy's going to help me put together some of the fundraisers leading up to it because she is a survivor, strong woman who loves helping other people. So Cindy Martin, Cynthia Martin at HowardHannahRealty.com, 932-5558, 518-932-5558. Give her a call. Even if you're just kind of thinking about selling, you're thinking about buying, you're done with the apartments, she'll be honest with you. Hey, this is a great time. Hey, can you put together a little bit more money? Stage your house like this. She'll be there for you to help you get the best results because that's what she does. Cindy Martin. That's my girl. Levack and Goz. I don't know how I feel about this Batman movie, guys. I just don't know how I feel. I want to love it. But I don't know how I feel about it.
I would say for the podcast audience in particular, they may not know you are a big comic book superhero fan. It's like probably an unknown fact about the Jeff Levack, right? Like you know this stuff.
Do you want to know how bad? You'll respect this because you host trivia multiple times a week. Last Friday, not last night, I was at trivia over at Jessica Stone's. Love Jessica Stone's. One of my favorite places just hide and throw back Miller Lights until I have to Uber home. Here's the question. This Marvel character debuted in the Fantastic Four comic book in 1966. I was born in 1976, guys. I looked at my team, all stops. They all look at me because they know I'm the nerd. And they're like, was it this? Was it this? I'm like, no, those are DC characters. No, this, no, that came. I know they were part of this one. No, Spider-Man had his own comic debut. And they're sitting there going, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm like, it's the Silver Surfer. It's got to be the Silver Surfer. I think it's around when Galactus, boom, 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 give me Silver Surfer, right? Put it in the phone, goes in, right? I'm wrong. They tell me Black Panther. I walk over, I happen to be friends with the host, pull my phone out, boop, 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 boop. Both debuted in 1966. Silver Surfer, like a month before Black Panther. He goes, I got to give you that one. I go, did anybody else get it right then? He goes, no, nerd. But yeah, I actually was more right than the trivia host, and that guy's buttoned down. That's how much of a comic book nerd I am. And I'm oddly proud of it. I don't know why I'm single.
You know what? I'll go a step further. He should be fired for that mistake, and I will take over now with Jessica Stone's. No, too far. Okay.
I don't think you have the technology. They do it on the phones now. It's pretty cool. We got to get you up to
speed. Oh, no. I've been recruited by them. I know all about that stuff going on over there. I'm one of their top recruits. They've called me. So in other words, if we need somebody, we'll call you on Mondays or Fridays. So wait, why are you not a fan of this Batman movie?
I don't. So I feel like casting Batman is got to be the most difficult thing for all the superheroes, because like back in my day when Michael Keaton was Batman. I remember being a kid going, "This is stupid." The guy was just Mr. Mom. You know, like, and now he's going to be Batman? This is absurd. And he was phenomenal. He was great. Val Kilmer, I was like, Val Kilmer's perfect. He's kind of dickish, and he's got that look, he's got that vibe. Val Kilmer was not good. You know, Christian Bale, I was like, yeah, the American Psycho guy, he was really good. Pattinson, I don't know how I feel about him. I don't know. So hopefully it wins me over and I like it. But it feels like Batman is, I thought Ben Affleck was going to be, I think Ben Affleck is underrated as Batman. I'm putting it out there. I thought he did a really good Bruce Wayne, I thought. At the stage they wanted him to be Bruce Wayne. I thought he did a really good Bruce Wayne. But I'm just not blown away by the visual of it. I do want to see it, but I don't think I'm going to rush. I think I'm going to wait and see like what kind of Rotten Tomatoes and people I know actually say about Batman.
I wonder if people in their late 20s and early 30s feel the same way about just the Batman franchise in general, that The Dark Knight was such an unbelievable movie. Like it's my favorite movie. Like, really? So when you put up that movie, right. Like I've only seen one movie ever premiere at midnight, and it was the third one in the trilogy, The Dark Knight. No, not Rises. Is it Dark Knight Rises? Yeah. The Dark Knight Rises was the third one. Yeah. That's the only one I saw at a midnight premiere where I was in the front row because I thought, oh, you just walk into midnight. Nobody's going to be at this movie. No, terrible decision by me. Like, I'm like this the entire movie staring up. But there's just so many movies post that movie that I thought we'd get like a little bit of a break. That's not how action heroes and comic book movies, that's just not how it works. And they're different directors and different style. I get all that.
Right.
I feel like Robert Pattinson's a pretty good actor. I feel like I can buy it. They're doing their best to separate it from not being just a carbon copy of past Batmans, at least from the trailers. I wasn't there at midnight. I don't know, but it seems different than the other ones.
How nerd do you want to get right now?
Get a little nerdy here.
Depending upon what comic it is, what story is being told, and who's telling it, which writer, which artist, Batman's different. Like there's the campy, fun Adam West Batman. There's the Brave and the Bold. There's this, that. This is the darker, like it may even be darker than the Nolan Dark Knight series. Could be even darker. So I think this should be a very gritty, very dark version of Batman. So it should be cool. It should be fun. Just don't. Historically speaking, Marvel's better at live action and DC's better at animated movies. That's just this nerd's humble opinion.
I respect your opinion, Levack. I'll say that.
You have
so
to,
you're not
because I'm a bigger nerd.
Are you going to? Yes or no? Will you see it in theaters?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like all the comic book movies, it was always me and the kid that went, and she's busy. Like she's in college and she's got a job and blah blah blah, boyfriend. So if she wants to go, we'll go. Aside from that, I'm not sure. Maybe if I'm like really hungover tomorrow, I might just scoot out and go see it by myself, just to not be here where empties will be strewn about.
I would say I'd come with you and watch it, but the fact that now with the baby, a 2-hour or 2.5-hour movie will take me about 2.5 weeks. So I'm not the best person to.
Well, and I didn't invite you, but
you know what? That's a good segue to our final segment of the day. Sponsored by Johnstone Supply in Troy. That is Q&A to end the day.
Oh, they're sponsoring it now?
They were the last read today, so I'll just
okay.
Now you're sponsored at Johnstone Supply.
That was my first question. Is this sponsored by Johnstone Supply?
Spring is here. It's March. Make sure it's never too early to forget about some of the things, or to remember, not to forget about, to remember to check out some of your things in your basement, your furnace, your boilers. John Goodman, furnace, take care of it. Get it. Still, price is really going on right now. Follow Johnstone Supply in Troy on Facebook as well to find out more about their spring updates and make sure everything's working well. Give them a call today, 518-272-5922, 518-272-5922. If your spring projects are coming up and they're on the way, don't forget, in-house there at 6th Avenue in Troy, competitive prices, the best prices from Milwaukee Tools guaranteed in store. So again, this spring, go to 6th Avenue in Troy. Check out Johnstone Supply in Troy. Say what's up to our guy, Tom. Hopefully the hair is longer than ever. Kev, James, ask George if he's coming out of retirement this boxing season, maybe to train Tyson Fury, to manage Tyson Fury. I would love for those conversations to happen and for you to make sure the things that are important as a homeowner are being taken care of, the things that maybe you forget about, furnace, boilers, upgrades, and more. Johnstone Supply in Troy. Check them out, 6th Avenue this spring. I've got some really long ones. Go ahead with that one. Let's lead off with that one first.
Inside the Walls. But DC has darker story that Marvel won't touch. Marvel to Disney. Well, besides Deadpool, which comes out later this year, and Moon Knight, the TV series. So a lot of what Disney will do is, Marvel is they'll put the darker stuff on the apps and not release it to the theaters. But you're seeing they've got like little subsidiary companies now that they're kind of hiding behind, or they're working with Sony. Stuff like that. Because like Venom's pretty freaking dark, and that is a Marvel movie, even though it's with Sony. So you're right, DC can be darker. However, Disney has never seen a dollar they didn't want to take out of your pocket. And if they've got to find a sneaky way to make darker Deadpool movies and X-rate, not X-rate, but R-rate, they'll do it. They'll find their way. Trust me. I was a Disney dad for a short period of time. I had to go to rehab for it. So
who was there? Just other dads like wearing Mickey Mouse ears? Like, have I gone too far?
It was like that commercial where like he's telling people not to become their parents. It's like, let's not talk about leaving the game before it's over. Where it's like, but I need this coffee mug. You do not need a $50 Mickey Mouse coffee mug. Another a $2. You can go get a $20 Death Wish coffee mug, and it's still it's pricey, but at least it's cool. Like, all right.
Fine. Let's go. These are some long ones here today. All right. Damn it, McClain wrote in about his Jets in the NFL Combine. Guys, the perfect draft for the Jets fan would be safety Kyle Hamilton, who he actually was in that mock draft recently at the number 4 spot. Wide receiver Drake London from USC at 10. And then trading up with 2 second-round picks back into the first round for Lyndon Baum, the center from Iowa. Hopefully, Becton and Loss can both come back healthy to basically have a new first-round left tackle, defensive end, center, wide receiver, and safety. Okay, 2 of those things can happen. I think the third one is a little too much fantasy Madden booking, but you could get London and you could get Hamilton. I feel like the Jets walking away on a Thursday night with 3 really good first-round draft picks might be too much out of Mr. McClain there.
I mean, it could happen. I'm trying to think of like Douglas, like that last move doesn't sound like something he would do. I don't think he's going to give up 2 players for 1 player because how look, the roster is better than it was, but it's not good enough to give away a good player. And I think a lot of these guys look at that first 3, maybe 4, some guys first 5 rounds are guys that should start this year, right? I don't see Douglas giving away 1. You know, I see him, if anything, I could see him trading back, like taking that 10th pick, trading back and getting extra picks. But London makes me nervous. The big fella from USC, he makes me nervous. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure what he is. Is he fast enough? Is he big enough? Is he strong? Like I don't know what he is in the NFL game. And when you've got a questionable quarterback in Wilson, can he be like another tight end safety blanket type? Can he be a Plaxico Burress type? I don't know. I don't know if he works for the Jets, to be honest with you.
I don't know if I have some type of like USC hatred or I'm just not a fan of the Trojans. Maybe it's because of like just a quick window. I liked Reggie Bush. I feel like I don't know, resentment's not the right word, but the pushback I have for USC football is that anytime anybody has like a game or 2 that's good, oh my God, they're the greatest prospect of all time, draft them ever. Blah, blah, blah. Like that happened with Sam Darnold. Like people went nuts about like a couple good games for Sam Darnold. He's the greatest quarterback prospect ever. Drake London had a couple good games and got hurt. They're like, oh, he's the best wide receiver in football, blah, 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 blah. I remember Taylor Mays. I don't know if you remember that name, but he was like a 6'3" safety. And everyone's like, oh my God, he's the greatest safety ever. Why did Pete Carroll rip him? Okay, he didn't really play that. USC guys get so hyped so fast. And I know our pal Mike James is probably laughing somewhere. Shout out to him and his wife with the daughter and everything else. But he used to love to rip USC quarterbacks and just bunch him in. I get your critique of London. Was he just good for a few games? Can he actually play? I think that's a fair critique.
Well, especially like I don't feel the way you feel about USC about all the positions, but wide receiver. Like, is Keyshawn the last like really, really good USC wide receiver in the NFL? Like, they don't. I'm sure there's somebody I'm not. Well, Juju, right?
Juju, Robert Woods got hurt. I mean, those guys are not, no doubt, best in the league. They're good wide receivers.
I wouldn't take them 10th. No. I wouldn't take them 10th in the draft. Like, and look, it's not. Maybe that's not fair, but I think there is, to your point, like the USC bias. I think I have that. I think I do have that, especially when it comes to wide receiver.
Kyle left this one as a direct message. You can leave them public, Kyle. I'll read them whether they're public or private, but
don't be
I appreciate you. Yeah.
Don't be
hey, guys, you get offered $10 million, but every year, Aaron Donald hunts you down and punches you. Could be at any time, anywhere, any place. Are you taking the money? And he shared a picture of Aaron Donald on that, looking jacked out of his mind.
How many years? Like this?
I believe it's for the rest of your life.
No, not for the. Well, actually, 10 million.
Yeah,
once a year.
Could be the testicles.
Yeah. I probably would prefer that to the face. Like bust. That dude's gonna bust your brain. Like he's gonna bust your brain. You know what you gotta do? You gotta be one of those guys who figures out like how to take a punch and hurt the guy's hand, so it's just a little bit worse for him every year. Like you ever see that in the old boxing movies where the guy like leans forward and the guy busts his knuckle on his forehead or something? Yes. You gotta like. Sure, you're going to be concussed like a mother after that year, but after that, never the same. 10 million, I basically you never have to work. Your job for the rest of your life is to get punched. He's getting older too. You got to hope that he's like slowed down considerably by the time you're like 70, because that's what you're dead.
But you can never sleep though. Like Aaron Donald could be coming to your house at 2:00 in the morning. He busts in.
He's only going to hit you once. I'd rather be asleep. Why would you want to be awake for that? Your job, guys, your job for the rest of your life. You have $10 million in it. Think how hard it's going to be for us to accumulate $10 million. Like in your life right now, you probably haven't made $1 million yet. I would say you haven't. $10 million the rest of your life, you work 1 day a year and recovery.
Yeah, I guess so.
And you know what you could do? You could train to box the rest of the year just to take that punch a little easier.
I guess that's all right. You know what? If they didn't give me the picture of Aaron Donald, maybe I would have been quicker to agree to this. I'll take the punches then. Fine.
Plus, he seems like a very nice guy. I think every so often you just get a good Charlie horse and he walks away laughing.
You know what, Levack? We never got to hit these comments either. I'll run through them quick because your post went up on Wednesday. Oh, no, it was Tuesday. It doesn't matter. We didn't go to any of these. A lot of people are fans of The Bachelor, a.k.a. The Bachelor idea. Sally wrote, I don't want to watch The Bachelor, but I'll watch this. Our guy Mike wrote in, rumor has it the heavier people are harder to kidnap. We're just being safe with this contest. Zachary wrote, warmer weather in the winter too. Beth wrote, do it. Somebody would be lucky to have a date with you, Levack. A lot of good feedback about The Bachelor rather than The Bachelor on Facebook.
It's a more compelling show. Let's just be real, right? Like I watched the Tinder Swindler last night.
No,
I did. Have you seen it?
My wife is watching Love is Blind season 2, so it was between one of those two, and she went with that one instead.
It's almost 2 hours long, and I didn't think I was going to watch it. It just happened to. It just whatever. I had a reason. I'm not going to talk about it. I was influenced by another. I'm watching. I'm watching this, and it's like here's a good-looking dude who has a lot of money, and people are swiping right. Oh my God, that's so shocking. Like in The Bachelor, it's always like these like just really good-looking dudes, like and they get to be on TV for. It's like that dude doesn't need TV to find a woman, right? You want to impress me, drop me in the middle of 20 beautiful women, and find a way to make that work. That's what I'm saying. Oh well, he's funny. He's got a great personality. We know what that means. Like that's what I'm saying. So that's how The Bachelor started, and the idea of wings instead of roses, I think is just fun. Like everybody gets a wing. Plus, you can learn a lot from a woman, whether she likes drums or flats, and if she has the ability to eat a wing without making a full mess of herself, or even better, can she eat a wing without caring that she made a mess of herself? You learn a lot.
Exactly
you learn a lot about watching a woman eat a chicken wing. You do. So it's just a great thing. You walk up and hey, Susie, here's your wing. Would you like another shot at The Bachelor? Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. No, I'm sorry, Brenda. And I just eat it in front of her. Get the fuck out.
Get out
of here.
So we're only waiting on one person, Dan over at Hooters, who's been trying to ignore our calls. Like, oh, I got a new phone and I changed my number and blah, blah. Yeah, you guys are coming for March Madness, but what? We're on to you, Dan. I think this is the reason why. He knows how much success this would have. It would overflow Wolf Road. We're coming. Maybe, who knows? Episode 1 could be the Friday in March Madness when we're going to be there.
I think you do it as a special. I think you just get a couple, like you shoot it all like in one day and you cut it down to a special and you just put it up on the web. I think that's where you do it. Because again, I don't like commitment.
I'll make it a series though. Weekly episodes will drop.
I will say this too, like so Coach Manas is in town now, and we're sitting there, we're having we're having dinner, and everybody's talking. And he looks at Mike, he goes, "This is the year we find Jeff a good girl. We find Jeff, a girlfriend, a woman that he's gonna." I was like, "What the fuck did I do to you? I already had that. I've had relationships. I don't like them. They're not good for you. I gotta listen to other people's opinions and theories all the time. Ugh, gross." So, yeah.
Well,
so all of a sudden, everybody wants me to find a date again. Like, what the hell?
It's all on you now, Dan. There's nobody else, just you. All the pressure's
Balls
on.
in your court, Boston Dan.
Yeah.
That is your name. That was my favorite
Hooters,
too.
just walk up to Hooters and be like, "Why are you doing this to Levack? How could you do this to your friend?"
He is having like some phone issues, so he finally started writing to Goz and I again, and I started pretending I didn't believe it was him. I didn't realize that he was out. Like he's out of town for work, so he was out with a bunch of guys from work. And I think he was just drunk enough that he didn't realize I was messing with him. He's like, "No, it's really me." Like he was getting upset. It was fun. I enjoy messing with him. He usually catches it pretty quick. So, is that it? Is it? Can I go make a breakfast sandwich or something?
Yes, you can go make a breakfast sandwich. I'm gonna go watch Syracuse break my heart again. We are back Tuesday. Live. Do you
have any best bets for today?
Do I have any bets today? I have Colby Covington, just like you do. I have 2 parlays that I hit. Goz and the Go, 6-0 the last 2 weeks on NBA picks. So I need Covington to win so I can cash in. Nothing else I really like. I like staying away from this conference tournament week. Too many bubble teams trying to score. If you bet anything in college basketball, bet some bubble teams today. But Covington is my play for today, just like you.
All right. My bet is that I make a breakfast sandwich right now. So
see you Tuesday. Goodbye.